It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television. I want to welcome all the neighborhoods watching. We've got a lot to cover here. This is First Warning Live. If you're a first-time viewer, we cover all things weather. We focus on Hampton Roads in Northeast North Carolina, but we have to take the bigger picture at times in perspective. But it's sponsored by Marco's Pizza because sometimes we get hungry. Do you get hungry sometimes? I know I do. Anyway, Marco's Pizza giving away pizza this week. We'll talk about that. But the big story is the freeze warning tonight from 40s to 30s with wind chills in the 20s and some raindrops to snowflakes overnight. Now, Aldrich, I've been watching you a while, but that's the most convoluted headline I've ever seen. Well, I mean, there's just so much happening in the next 12 hours. There's so much happening between now and, 5 a.m. tomorrow morning when the snow is likely to end. Snow? I didn't know we were getting snow. That's why we do the live stream, so you can converse with me. I'll answer your questions. I won't hold back. I'll give you all the intel you want to know. But I can tell you we're going to get raindrops changing to snowflakes. Now, the freeze warning starts at 10 o'clock tonight. And last I checked, it's 7:40. Check your watch. Is it 7:40? It's 7:40. And 9 o'clock tomorrow morning is when it will end. It will cease, but it commences 10 o'clock tonight for the possibility of temperatures as low as 27 and lower 30s near the beaches. Now, I put that in quotation marks because that's from the National Weather Service. Now, you might be looking at me and go, I don't know this guy. I don't know if it's really going to get that cold. It's really going to get that cold. So I thought I'd just give the credibility of the Weather Service. The National Weather Service has these freeze warnings for everybody. But if you're in the weather communication business like I am, sometimes I have to pull things out of my pocket, like maybe an emoji. Oh, you're saying that emoji wasn't big enough to get the message across. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not big enough to get the message heard. This is the time to bring in your hardy mums, bring them in the garage if they're in a potted plant, because it's going to freeze. It's going to kill the growing season. And in a big way, some of you will be surprised and might be astonished that it gets this cold this fast. So just to kind of highlight, before I cover a little bit other good stuff here, the weather headlines as we look behind a live shot of the ocean front in Virginia Beach. Today's drop, because temperatures dropped today. Temperatures dropped today. Today's drop is just getting started. We highlighted that with the freeze warning, right? We went from 76 yesterday, spent most of the day in the 50s today. But the freeze warning, the hard freeze, starts Veterans Day morning, and then we have a dry week ahead. And if that's all you read, then you miss out on the big story for those that like winter. We're going to drops and flakes tonight. Drops and flakes tonight. All this is going to happen here in mere moments, so stay with me. By the way, if you'd like to participate in the deal of the week, or maybe you want to win some free pizza. Free pizza's good. I like free pizza. There's actually 6 locations that will participate in this contest, but your name could be drawn. And we're going to do that a day early this week. We're going to do it on Wednesday because I worked yesterday. I will be doing live streams today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. But there are 6 locations, 3 in Virginia Beach with the 757 phone number. You can see them listed here. So one here, and one over Independence Boulevard. We have 2 now in Chesapeake that are participating. But all you have to do, and 1 in Norfolk, all you have to do is go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos. You can actually win free pizza. So for this week, we're going to call it Wednesday. But most of the time, it is on a Thursday. Just because of as we're getting closer to the holidays, sometimes our schedules might be off a bit. But it's all good. I can tell you this, we're giving away free pizza on Wednesday. We also have the deal of the week, which is the $5 Pozzoli. Now, I don't know if you know what a Pozzoli looks like. Maybe a better picture might be this one, because I'm a big fan of the pepperoni and sausage. Buffalo chicken, I understand is very good. I'm going to have to try that. Might even try that tonight. But Marcos.com, they'll put some maybe ranch dressing, garlic, or maybe some pizza sauce. It's really good, and all you have to do is use the promo code WTKR David. That's my first name. Of course, the call letters of the TV station precede it. But if you use the promo code at Marcos.com, you can get a $5 Pozzoli. Now, I don't know if you can get a $5 burger someplace, have at it, but if you can get a $5 Pozzoli, it's like a Stromboli or a calzone. It's delicious. Again, my personal favorite is the pepperoni and sausage, and I think Marcos has heard me say that multiple times. So this is David's favorite item. I can't argue with that. I can't argue that at all. Now, if you're on the call, I want to say hi to you because I know I had some couple people. I believe Leslie is on here. Is that right? Leslie says, hello. But to be fair, I think she left that about 21 hours ago. So Leslie's note is from yesterday's live stream. which I did a special edition on Sunday. But if you have a message that you would like to share or a question about snow, I'm going to try and cover it all. But if you want a cut to the chase, I'll do my best with the answering of your questions. So let me keep moving and clear off my telestrator. But those are flakes. They're coming in tonight. If you haven't heard that message, there's a reason why. It's because the jet stream, the upper air pattern, is going to dip all the way down to Virginia Beach by about 4 in the morning. And then by 5 in the afternoon tomorrow, 5 in the afternoon, it's going to retreat up toward New England. And we should nudge, ready for this, 47 degrees. That's the high. But that doesn't even speak to the wind chill, which is going to be gnarly. The winds are going to be tough tomorrow. They're going to be generally 15 to 25, gusting to 30. So when you have snowflakes, blowing snow, right? My snowflake window is less than 3 hours away. It's actually 2 hours, 15 minutes. Because my window from yesterday, if you didn't see it, starts at 10 o'clock tonight and runs till 5 a.m. Veterans Day. Now, anyone could do the math. That's 7 hours. That doesn't mean it snows consistently, steady, for 7 hours. No, that's the window. And in many cases, I mean, maybe it's a metaphor, simile, I don't know. You're looking out the window, you're probably asleep at 3, 4, 5 a.m. I know I am. Fill in the blank. When are you asleep? If you work the third shift, this could be important intel. That's why I do the first warning, my friend. Been talking about this since Election Day night, or you could call it election night. You go back to my live streams, you'll see what I'm saying is accurate. I've been talking about a snow event coming in the middle of the night while many people are asleep, doesn't affect the drive, doesn't affect the morning drive, because it ceases immediately by about 5, maybe lingering on the far eastern shore by 6. But I don't think it's a problem for the morning drive. But it's going to be wet snow. It's going to be scattered. It's going to mix with rain, scattered snow showers. Any questions? Any questions? Now would be a great time to ask me, because if you have a thought, question, or a comment, I will do my best to put you on top of the line. Put your picture comment, just the one that you supply Facebook. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. And I'm just toggling on here so I can get some comments. And I have 3 or 4 that might have just popped in. So let's do this. Let's put this back on screen here. I got a good evening from, let's see, I see a great evening from Taj Brown. So hello to Taj. Taj is here. Taj is saying great evening. You know, Taj, if you're a fan of winter, my suggestion to you would be either to stay up late, or better bet, get up early. Because for Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, it might be 3 or 4 a.m. before this thing hits its full stride, before it hits its crescendo. So it might obviously start at 10 or 11 or maybe midnight for Williamsburg, but it's going to be coming down I-64. So my suspicion is, and I'll show you the futurecast, that we're going to get widely scattered snow showers. This is not February 19th. Let me repeat, this is not a snowstorm. February 19th, as many of you know, was over 10, 11 inches of snow. 10, 11 inches of snow, that's not what this is. Not even close. So leave the sled at home, keep the snowblower in the garage. You don't need it. But what you may need is a little bit of patience if you work the third shift and you're driving through what could be what appears like an aggressive snow shower, because the data suggests anywhere from a trace, which is to as much as an inch. But here's the rub. The ground is pretty warm. It's not likely to stick, so maybe you get a half inch that falls. Some of it's rain, some of it's snow. But the bottom line is, it's not a big deal once the sun's up. What's the bigger deal is the cold air when it feels like 20 first thing in the morning. Now we can go back to the radar now, and I can show you it's raining around Richmond. I can clearly see it's raining in Richmond, but if you use a discerning eye, you see it's trying to change over to snow over here. So there are parts of the Commonwealth that are now beginning to show signs of flurries, and it's just a matter of time before it drops down here. It's been snowing a good chunk of today with snow showers in Charleston, Beckley, Snowshoe, and you get what's called orographic lift. You get the upslope, and they've probably had pretty close to maybe 6, 12 inches of snow or more. And maybe they get a little bit more in the mountains of West Virginia. It's been snowing in the Smokies. It's what I like to call the horseshoe effect. Many call it that, but it's really not a big issue for the valley like Knoxville, but it is a bigger issue if you're in Newfound Gap or perhaps maybe Mount LeConte. But highs today, very misleading. I said yesterday, if you watched the stream, I said probably going to be closer to 61. Whatever we are at midnight, that's going to be our high. Well, lo and behold, our high was 61, and it happened, because I'm a note taker, 12:14. Can't get much closer than that. I was off by 14 minutes. 12:14, Norfolk International reported a high of 61. Their low temperature was 50. Now, again, bear in mind, low temperature is relative because when it was during daylight hours, because it's dark now. 50 occurred at 1:40 in the afternoon. Talk about an upside down day. What's wrong with Mother Nature? Nothing. It's the passage of a cold front. So we got a really warm temperature, 61, at 12:14 a.m., but then we had our low temperature occur at 1:40 p.m. And if you pick out your favorite town, if you're not in Norfolk, maybe you're Chesapeake, you didn't get any higher than 58. You didn't get any higher than 59 in Franklin or Hosky. So technically, 61, as I said, that's going to be the temperature for the almanac, right? When people look back at the date and say, oh, it was 61. You know what? The truth of the matter is the actual daytime high today was 54. And I was calling for 55. I said verbally, I said probably got to hit slow 60s at midnight, and sure enough, that's where we were. So what we're talking about tomorrow is a big change, even though we've now had 4 above normal days. Do you remember yesterday? If you're on Team Spring, man, 76, how sweet it is. Some of you probably are like thrilled to hit 76, but that is no longer, that's in the rear view mirror, right? We've had now 6 below normal temperatures. Daytime temperature was only 54, and tomorrow we'll be lucky to hit 47 in the afternoon. That's pretty cold. That's pretty cold no matter how you slice it. Got some other notes here. Who do I have on here? It looks like Ned is on here. I got here Taj is on here. But if you have a comment, let me know. I'll do my best to put your name on the screen using your caption. Whatever you have a question regarding weather, I will do my best to put it on the screen. But I appreciate your time looking at this. This is just part of the story. So our low temperature this morning was 50. It's now showing 48. I wanted to show the lows second because these are current temperatures, right? We haven't even hit midnight yet, but many of us are beginning to see signs of what's happening. We're beginning to see signs that the coldest temperature will be probably close to midnight tonight. Because if it's 42 in Chesapeake now, you know it's going to be colder at midnight. Colder at 11:30 p.m. It's going to be colder than that, but these represent where we are now. If you look at the temperature change, it's off the chart, right? It's 20 degrees colder now in Norfolk and Hampton compared to this time last night, and it's now 7:51. Current temperatures have already dropped into the 30s for our friends over here. I got a quote question that's just come in from Kelsey East. What's it look like in Gates County? Well, I would say probably low 40s. I don't have a temperature for you at this moment. But I can tell you in here, Gates County, you're probably between what a Hosky has and Chapanoke, 45. So maybe if that's you, if you're in Gatesville, for example. But I do have it in other maps. I can show you this, though. Hertford's at 44 and Edenton's at 47. But it's 37 at Jackson. And if you throw in some cold wind chills, one thing you'll note, it's already below freezing as far as the wind chill in Jackson. And of course, that's Southampton County. So Northampton County, I get them mixed matched there because we have both in Virginia and North Carolina. But notice that about in Gates, I don't have a temperature, but 39 is the wind chill currently in Elizabeth City. So these are current values. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, the 33 in Virginia Beach will be so misleading because we're talking about feels like wind chill temperatures closer to 20, closer to 19. Now, it won't stay like that through the rest of the day. If we hit 47 for a high, it might only feel like 39 by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Get through tonight's drops to flakes event, and then it's moving on to, and you know what you can do? You can actually start playing turn on the Christmas music, turn on the holiday music while the snow is coming down. If you stay up late and you're on Team Snow, or you get up early at say 3 or 4 in the morning, and you could say, hey, I saw it. It's kind of like when we always urge you to go see the meteor shower. It's in the middle of the night. You got to get away from the city lights. Some people don't do that. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to really see a shooting star. I can assure you some of you are going to see some snow. And you're going to be like, that was a pretty cool deal. But once the sun comes up, it's lights out, it's over. 28 in Franklin, 27 in Waverly, the expected low tonight, and 31 in Moyock, Chesapeake, and 30 in Gatesville. There's Gatesville for you. Veterans Day tomorrow. Make no mistake about it. It is blustery. It's cold with that wind. And the wind is also part of the story. It wouldn't feel like a 19 or 20 if you had a calm wind. 33 is still cold. The record low, are you ready for this, is, drum roll please, the record low is 30 from the year 1913. That was 112 years ago. That was a long time ago. So if you want to know if we're going to be near record lows in the morning, the answer is yes. And we're going to talk about snow in November for Norfolk here with my trivia question, compliments of Tony Nargi, in just a moment. Wind chills, here's what's very sobering. 8 o'clock, we are to presume we're going to be around 41. We're pretty close to that now. But if I would advance this to 11 o'clock tonight, which is now 11 here, you've got wind chills in the mid-30s for south side. It's already in the 30s at 11 o'clock tonight, but it gets better or worse depending on your frame of reference. 5 o'clock in the morning, it's 25. As I said last night, you might be thinking, 25, I'm asleep at 5. What do I care? I'm out the door at 7. At 7, it's worse. It's down to 19. You mean it's 19 or 20 is what it feels like tomorrow morning? Yes, yes, and yes. So if you're not prepared, this is the time to get prepared. If anything else, at least mentally, because it's so important that our kids, our neighborhood kids, have some kind of jacket more than just a windbreaker. And if moms or dads aren't paying attention to the forecast, believe me, there's a lot to distract. If they're not paying attention, they're going to be at a bus stop not fully clothed enough for this. Because 19 is the dead of winter. And you say, yeah, but it's only the 11th of November. Doesn't matter. If the weather brings it on, we dress for it. And that's why I said it doesn't last that long. Because by the time we hit the 11th hour, which is, again, Veterans Day, the whole idea, 11th day, 11th month of the year, 27, it still feels like it's in the 20s, almost noon. 12 noon is probably closer to 30. But by 4 or 5 o'clock, we might get back to 39 when the actual temperature is 47. Am I making sense at all? I'm just trying to make this clear, transparent, and balanced so that you know what to expect. Now, it's not going to be that bad the rest of the week, although Wednesday starts pretty chilly at 36. We'll make it back to 60 Wednesday afternoon, but we're back in the 40s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Just checking in with you. You're looking at live pictures of Virginia Beach, view of Chesapeake Bay, Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg, the Oregon Inlet, and Kill Devil Hills. If you're on the call, just want to say hi. Kelsey says yes. She's saying something about her knees feel it. Missed that part of the conversation. Let's see here. Stay warm. I got a note from TD. TD is on here. TD just wants to say, stay warm, everybody. Don't forget to disconnect your water hose and let the faucet drip. Most of the time, I would agree with that full-heartedly, TD, but I almost would want to say that you would need the actual temperature to be 25 or colder. Not saying it's not a good idea, but I'm not at that point. If I had been in Knoxville, usually when I'm in the teens, I'm start dripping my pipes. It just depends on where you are. And again, if you think you're susceptible to that, wind chill, and actual temperature, very different. As I've said before, when someone quizzed me in Rochester, if the temperature's 36, but the wind chill is 32, does water freeze? The answer is no, because water does not have feelings. So, I mean, even though it might feel like it's in the 20s, physical properties, it's still 33 or 32, depending on where you are, maybe 28. It's probably not a bad idea to consider it, but I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all, if that makes any sense. Oh, I got a note from Katrina Gay. She's pointing out, she's one of our great photographers on the WTKR Photographers Group. And Katrina, I chose one of your photos tonight. So we're going to wrap up the live stream at the end with one of your photos. I don't know if you knew that. Chance or happenstance, but I'm very glad that you reminded us it may be a good time to turn on the holiday music. All right, let's see here. Let me go back to more of the content for snow. Now, we can have this interactive. Let's do this. This was the question that Tony Nargi asked at 12 noon on our TV newscast at noon. Great answer would be either A, B, or C. Well, I'm kind of curious to know what you think. I took it a step further because I wanted to see where we were in November. But question on hand, what is the November snowfall record in Norfolk? Is it A, 6.7, B, 8.9, or C, 12.3? Does anyone want to take a guess? Anyone want to take a guess at all? Let me know. I'll do my best to see if you got the question right. I got a note. Somebody was asking, who is it? Linda Brown. She's more concerned about Roanoke. So we have people who watch from outside the 757. That's okay. But we'll try and cover as much as we can. Still wanting to know anyone. I got a note. Taj is quick. Taj is very quick. He says, Taj Brown says C. Now, if you think the answer for November in Norfolk is 12.3, come back on camera here. The answer is that is not correct. Although Taj usually gets it right. So if you're just watching for the first time, he was like 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 6. But at this point, it was actually A, 6.7. This occurred way back in 1891. Now I know, 1891. Who was alive in Well, you go back. You can do the history books here. We're a very historic town in this place like Williamsburg. But I can tell you we had a trace of snow in 2019. We had a trace of snow in Norfolk in November in 2008. Now, I'm just focused on November here, and I'm just focused on Norfolk for context. But the last time we had measurable snow was 1987. It was 0.3. we picked up almost a half inch, we'll say a third, 0.3 inches of snow fell in Norfolk in November of 1987. That was the same year, by the way, same year that Kurt Williams was started at WTKR. Now, if you know Kurt is the face in many ways, as he's their news anchor. Some of you are like, I'm from Roanoke or I'm Oklahoma City. This is our news anchor, Kurt Williams. And Kurt has been with us since 1987. He's been with us for 38 years. That's how long it's been, my friend. That's how long it's been since we've had really any measurable snow. Is that possible tonight? Yeah, I would say some models suggest we can get up to an inch falling in spots, but again, because it's so widely scattered, it's like throwing grass seed, right? Not every place is going to sprout. Not everybody's going to get that much snow. But let's go back to the maps. I know that some of you might be watching from the military. You have family near and far or everywhere. Not a lot going on in Texas, California. Do have some wet weather going on as I zoom in this way into Idaho, Montana. Looks like they've got some wet weather and even some snow in maybe the mountains of Montana right now to the west of Great Falls and north of Missoula. But if we slide back to the Great Lakes, snow showers are now forming in Minnesota tonight. We've got some lake effect snow streamers. That's what that would say to me, having worked in Rochester for 4 years. That's what's coming down here. And so you're getting a connection into Lake Erie, maybe Lake Huron and Georgian Bay might be giving a connection into Rochester, some snowflakes falling there. And of course, we mentioned possibly 6 to 12 inches of snow in parts of West Virginia, higher hills certainly, and even into the areas higher up than Gatlinburg. There's a place called Ober-Gatlinburg where they do skiing. They would have had anywhere from 4 to 8 inches or more, maybe 12 or more inches of snow. Not a whole lot in Roanoke as you're on the east side of the mountains, but you still could see some flakes or flurries. Most of what we're going to see here tonight, the moisture is already there. We're just waiting for the cold air to catch up. Does that make sense? The rain and moisture is already there in Richmond. We're just waiting for the cold air to catch up. And I use the analogy that if you have 2 kids on the playground, 2 kids on the swing set, right? You get the moisture, and if they're not swinging together in unison, like they're out of phase. But when you had the February 19th event, those were in phase. You got the cold air, and you got the moisture, and whammo, you got 10 inches of snow. And some people, back on February 19th, didn't believe it until they saw it. This is not that. This is, yes, we're getting a little bit of moisture, and the cold air will catch up, but there won't be a lot of time. It's a narrow window of probably 7 hours or less where we could get some snow showers in your neighborhood. Not every neighborhood is going to participate, and sadly, that's sometimes the way it goes. Not everybody gets rain showers, right? If we said scattered rain showers, that would make sense. But clearly for the next 5 days, after sunrise tomorrow, I don't have anything. Nothing. I'm empty. No rain, nothing coming down from the sky after sunrise tomorrow. We've mentioned the hurricane season is dwindling down, not a lot to see in the Atlantic, and this is no surprise if you track history, if you track where we've been before based on climatology. November 30th is the last day. We just don't have a lot to talk about. But we did pick up 0.33 inches in Norfolk this morning, so that now gives us a grand total of 1.29 inches of rain so far. This is typically a dry month, so when I show you 5 days with no rain, should that send an alarm out? Probably not, because when you look at these 30-year averages, February is typically the driest, 30-year average here, and November is the second driest. So we don't typically see a lot of rain. Now, what is the wettest is typically from those big thunderstorms in July. It's very humid in August as well, so these numbers tend to be a little more inflated compared to a February or November. So if you're a gardener, a landscaper, someone who has a green thumb, that might be of interest to you. Now, not every day. If you've watched this program, you've watched this live stream, I often show the dew point temperatures. Anytime it's in the 30s, I'll make a big fuss, right? If it's in the 20s, I'll say it looks like winter to me. But when you can find a 13-degree dew point on this map anywhere, it would catch my attention. But it's in Atlanta, it's in Columbia, and it's 11 in Charlotte. That is bone dry. Bone dry. That is screaming like the dead of winter. But it's only November 10th. I know. Does that seem weird? Well, maybe, because this is unusual. We're going to be near record lows. We could have the biggest snowfall measured since 1987 if we get just a bit more than a trace, which really that's low-hanging fruit based on what's coming down from I-64. We'll have to wait and see. But but very, very dry. So when we talk about what dew point means, I had to add the two words really dry because, I mean, we don't even have a category. It's just usually in July, it was like 75, 77. It was off the chart, sticky in July. We're now on the opposite side of the playground. We're really, really dry, so much so that it's going to be struggling to get above 24 tomorrow. So all that means is winter is here. It's the cold winter chill. Some call it chapstick weather, whatever you want to do to make sure dry skin weather. It's tough. Current temperature as of 8:04 is 46, Hampton, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach. It's right now 44 in Chesapeake. And our friends in Franklin, 42. Hosky's 39, already beginning to see 30s. Now, if this continues to grow in the next few hours, which it will, then maybe we will see some snow. Maybe I've convinced one or two of you watching right now that maybe there's some truth to this. It's going to be really cold in the morning. So cold that you're going to think, this is the coldest I've seen probably since February 19th, right? Really, really cold air is beginning to move in. It's already 29 in Knoxville. That's not that far away. It's 21 in Beckley. That's the current reading, my friend. Now, we're not going to get that cold. It'll be modified when it gets here to about 33 for Norfolk. But 21 in Beckley, that should be the canary in the coal mine says, hey, this is cold stuff. Are you ready and ready for it? I got a note from Katrina. Again, she's laughing at it. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. Kelsey is also on here. I guess it says, hey, no snow. She doesn't want any. Katrina says she loves snow. So Katrina, you, my friend, are going to either have to stay up late, or if you're in the Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, I would say get up early. Get up, just peek out. Maybe you have a dog that has to be let out at 3 or 4 in the morning, even though maybe they don't. You go outside. You might see, and I even suggested on TV, everybody kind of laughed at me in the control room. I said, take your family, go out at 4 in the morning, and turn on the Christmas lights, and take your Christmas card photo. Your Christmas card photograph. You can have real snow. It's like Mother Nature's queued it up. I've teed it up for you with the snowflake window. You couldn't get it any better than that. So I'm saying, if that's your thing and you like, maybe turn on It's a Wonderful Life. Maybe we could do that too. Whatever you want to do. You might get in the mood for Christmas shopping or holiday shopping this very night, early tomorrow morning. But it doesn't last. As I said, it'll be done before 5 a.m. Temperatures, though, very, very cold at this hour. It is now 8:06. Look how cold it is. Does this not match up the upper air pattern? It does. You had this thing carved out like so, and it's going to be reaching its lowest point in that trough by about 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, is it going to stay like that way for Thanksgiving? No. Likely to see a warm-up or a gradual moderation as we head through November 18th to the 24th. Where's this information coming from? It's coming from the Climate Prediction Center. Let me say that again. The Climate Prediction Center typically does either 6 to 10 day outlooks or 8 to 14 day outlooks. This is the 8 to 14. So really through the next couple of weeks, it will modify, especially east of the Mississippi. But there will be below normal temperatures if your travel plans for Thanksgiving maybe get below normal for California. That doesn't mean it's cold like tonight, but it's colder than normal for Arizona and California standards, whatever their normals are. Now you can clearly see from the future temperatures that blue starts to retreat from here, stays pretty toasty in Texas, Midwest through the 15th, and somewhat modified as we head through the 18th, but there will be some ebbs and flows. Clearly, I don't have too many hot numbers on the 7-day. We'll get to that here in a moment. So here's where I expect to be. Tomorrow, 47. We'll bounce back up to 60, struggle to get there all day on Wednesday, and should be around normal on Friday at 63. And then we're back to 55, I think, on Saturday before we come back a little bit on Sunday. By the way, here's the Eastern Shore forecast. It's 8:08. If you have a question, I'll do my best to answer it. 46 for Onancock tomorrow. It's like a whole new season. A whole new season has arrived at Cape Charles tomorrow. If that 48, wait a minute, that 48, does that say 48? 48 Cape Charles. That's the high. That's not the low. That's the high. Big change. So welcome to the new season. Exmoor, you're at 46. We've got the Outer Banks, 46 for Duck, Kill Devil Hills, and Nags Head. Our friends in Manio, Roanoke Island, only 45. But you might be lucky. You might be hopeful to get to 48 in Ocracoke, 47 in Hatteras, and Rodanthe, about 46 degrees tomorrow. Does that help? Just trying to do my best to get you ready for some sunshine, albeit some very cold and blustery sunshine. Storm Prediction Center, really not showing much. We kind of focus on the dark green and the yellow areas, if and where they appear. here from the Storm Prediction Center, but it's a nothing situation tonight, and really nothing tomorrow on Tuesday. Lower 48 looks fine, and Wednesday. So we're kind of in that very quiet weather pattern. But this map, this is the one you're going to love. This is the one that some of you have waited for through the entire, last 20, 30 minutes, because this is actually going to dictate, maybe prescribe, where the snow showers will form, because it's based on the latest guidance and data. Now, 11 o'clock, it looks like a few raindrops, right? X more. Hey, it's still raining here. Okay, that's 11 o'clock. But if you're off to the north and west, you can see the snow is growing. Could you please take that full screen? I can do that. That's what I mean. I'm here to help you. So this is midnight. This is a projection. It's not gospel, but it's a projection of what it could look like in Richmond at midnight tonight. Now, we're well into my window, right? Because I said we could see some snow somewhere between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. tomorrow. But look what happens at 1. I'm up at 1. Or I work at such and such place at 1 in the morning. Maybe just look out the window. It's raining in Virginia Beach, but it could very well be snowing. Where? In Edenton. You mean it could be snowing in Edenton at 1 o'clock? Yes, and yes. Looks like we got a good snow shower here, capable of producing maybe a quarter inch, half inch of snow, maybe more if it lays down, but we've got a very warm ground, so that's working against us. By 2 a.m., now we've had 1 area, 2 areas, 3. It's growing all across the Albemarle, while it might still be void of Norfolk, at least so far. But this is just 2 in the morning. Let's take you to 3. Do you see any snow now? Yeah, it looks like one big blob to me. Looks like someone took out the bluish paint bomb and just laid it over Williamsburg and Franklin. And maybe Duck. You mean Duck could see some snow? Well, look at that. Looks like it's snowing in Norfolk. Might be a rain-snow mixed, but can't rule it out. That's 3 in the morning. I think the peak of this event seems like it's 4. Is it 4? Looks pretty close to 4. It could be raining in Dare County and Manio. You could be seeing flakes in Elizabeth City, the Harbor Hospitality, at 4 in the morning. It might start even sooner. Could even start sooner. There's Gates County. Gates is getting snow at 4 in the morning. But if you sleep through it, well, guess what? If you sleep through it, I got news for you. You're going to miss it. You're not going to see it once the sun comes up tomorrow. This is the main event. And for those of you that want to cue up the Christmas music, turn on It's a Wonderful Life, whatever you want to do, have the family gather around and you turn on the Christmas lights and take your Christmas photograph, Christmas card material right here. Because it's not going to last. Not for the rest of the week. It's a one-time special. Right? Just like I was talking about the special of the Pozzoli, right? You can get a Pozzoli for $5 if you use the WTKR David promo code. But I get ahead of myself. 4 a.m., that's what it looks like. What about 5 a.m.? It's really coming down. Maybe you have a half inch trying to form on the grassy surfaces. Maybe you get one over the cold car rooftops. But again, some of this is going to mix in with rain, so it's not always true. The color that you see here is an average. It's an average. It's going to be cold enough potentially to produce up to an inch in some spots, but I think that's pie in the sky. By 6 o'clock, as I said, by 5 it would be winding down. There's not much here left, right? By this point, 6 o'clock, it's over. And then you wake up, you get out the door at 6:30, you're like, all right, I'm ready to see the snow. You missed the window, my friend. It's a window. It's closed. The window truly closes at 5. So you really miss out, and then the rest of the day looks like this. Looks quite quiet. There's the 11 o'clock hour on Veterans Day, and it's sunny. But it's windy, blustery, and cold. It stays with us the rest of the day. And then maybe a few clouds tomorrow night, and then it works its way 7 a.m. on Wednesday, and then it's pretty much another sun-filled day on Wednesday. But at least we get back up to near 60. So the cooling down process is here. I mentioned 1 o'clock. You might not think it could make it into Hampton Roads, but it will. And then with high pressure taking over, we'll have a quiet rest of the week. 33 for a low, generally, south side. 32 generally for the peninsulas, and 30 for North Carolina. But some will be colder, some will be warmer. Duck 35, 27 Conway, 31 Windsor, 30 in Suffolk. So that's just the way things are likely setting up. 33 in Hampton, 33 in Cape Charles, and about 32 in Newport News, and 31 in Smithfield, Moyock, and Chesapeake. So that's where I see things going. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be lucky to hit 47. There might be a few locations, maybe a touch warmer than that. I got Gloucester at 49. I got 48 Elizabeth City, 47 in Franklin, and 47 for Moyock, Chesapeake, 48 for Hertford. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. 60 on Wednesday, 58 on Thursday. This is all in keeping, by the way, with what was said on this very live stream, not only on election night, when I said we'd have the potential for some snow, but the fact that winter, go back to the end of October, I said this would be a front-end loaded winter, where we would probably find winter coming in early, maybe some bouts of it. That's not me. How often do you get? The last time we had measurable snow was 1987. That could come down. This could be the biggest snow in November in Norfolk. You have to say in November. Biggest snow in November in Norfolk in 38 years. But that's the 11th because it's going to happen on the other side of midnight. 60, 58, 63, 55. You can clearly see we have some milder days on Sunday. I see some spotty rain coming in late at 67 degrees. I don't want to leave off the beautiful pictures that will hopefully lift your mood. Hopefully what I've shared with you will be of help to you and your neighbors, and timeline and how you can make your daily plans, adjust those daily plans tomorrow with wearing lots of layers, even some long johns. William Wood, Buckrow Beach sunrise, beautiful picture. Katrina Gay's been watching us live. Want to salute Katrina for all the hard work she does. I've seen pictures from her for weeks, if not months. I've only been here about 9 months, but she's been a diligent photo taker, and she captures some beauty on James River. This was a sunset recently posted. And then the Chesapeake Bay Bridge sunset from Henry. New picture, new gentleman for me, but I love this photo. It's just got that nice glow and really is uplifting. If you haven't been on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, check it out. So we've got some rain now. You know and I know if that rain's still lingering, which it probably will be reinforced when this trough passes by, our temperatures are going to continue to drop and that rain will change to wet snow. So there's the first warning. All that snow will be over with before the sun is up. Hence, I only put a 10% there. I don't think it's an issue once the sun is up. But 36 is another cold morning on Wednesday before we warm back up to 60 on Wednesday afternoon. By the way, if you haven't figured this out, it's real easy to win free pizza. In this economy, free food is free food, and Marco's is delicious. I can't emphasize it enough. Just please sign up. Go to WTKR/Marco's. If you do that, we're going to give away free pizza this Wednesday because I'm off Thursday and Friday this week. I worked yesterday. 757, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. The one that just opened is pretty cool. Maybe if you're down near the Great Bridge area, Marco's Pizza has just opened up here in the Great Bridge Marketplace too. They would love to see you, but they also are one of the now 6 locations that are participating in the contest. If you do get selected, we'll announce your name on Wednesday evening. It works like a punch card. You'll get a free pizza. You could check box, X marks the spot for November. Maybe you get tired around the holidays, you want pizza, you can get a free one. It's a large, one-topping pizza every month for free. And if your name gets here, you'll get a certificate sent to you in the mail. We've been giving away now hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pizzas now since the end of May. This would be a great time for you to do that. And also, if you want a $5 Pozzoli, if you're hungry now, this is usually twice that price, but all you have to use is the promo code WTKR, which are our call letters and my first name. My recommendation is pepperoni and sausage. Make sure you get a dipping sauce that you like, but you might be a buffalo chicken person or just a pepperoni person. Whichever you like, it is delicious, it is tasty, and it is like having like a Pozzoli. A Pozzoli is like having a Stromboli, like a calzone. It is really, really tasty. Well, just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. It doesn't matter if it's rain or snowflakes, which we'll get both tonight in the overnight. I just want to salute and thank all of our veterans on this Veterans Day. We'll talk more tomorrow night, but I hope you have a very safe, stay warm type of day with sunshine developing, and we'll see you here tomorrow. Just remember, every day we're given is a gift. So make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.